The oatmeal most Americans with type 2 diabetes eat every morning has a glycemic index of 83. White bread has a glycemic index of 75. The breakfast food that millions of people choose specifically because it sounds healthy for blood sugar actually spikes glucose faster than the white bread they gave up. A 2019 clinical trial published in the British Journal of Nutrition confirmed that instant oatmeal raised blood sugar approximately the same as refined white bread. And the best type of oatmeal on this list has a glycemic index of 42, which is lower than most fruits, lower than brown rice, and nearly half the glycemic impact of the instant packets sitting in most American pantries right now. Same food category, a 41-point difference in glycemic index. The difference is entirely about processing, and once you understand the mechanism, you will never buy the wrong oatmeal again. I'm Dr. Sarah Walker. Did you know that only 1% of people who watch this video subscribe? Hit subscribe right now if this is helping you. Free, and it keeps this content coming every week. Before we continue, if your morning right now includes instant oatmeal with a flavor packet, flavored creamer in your coffee, and a glass of orange juice, you have 3 blood sugar spikes happening simultaneously before 9 a.m. The morning glucose protocol was built around exactly this window. The link is in the pinned comment below. The usual reminder, everything here complements your medical treatment, never replaces it. Before we get into the 5 types, the mechanism that explains everything, beta-glucan. Oats contain a unique soluble fiber called beta-glucan that no other grain has in the same concentration. When beta-glucan reaches your digestive tract, it dissolves in the water in your gut and forms an extremely viscous gel. This gel physically coats the walls of your intestine, creating a barrier between digestive enzymes and the starch molecules they are trying to break down into glucose. The more intact the oat, the more viscous the beta-glucan gel. The more viscous the gel, the slower the glucose release. The slower the glucose release, the flatter the blood sugar curve. The American Diabetes Association lists whole oats as a superstar food. Research published in peer-reviewed journals shows that regular oat consumption reduces HbA1c by 0.4% in people with type 2 diabetes. The European Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirmed that the viscosity of beta-glucan is directly proportional to its glycemic lowering effect. More intact oats equal a thicker gel equals slower glucose absorption. The problem is that the most popular oatmeal products in America have been processed into something that no longer delivers meaningful beta-glucan viscosity, and they add sugar on top of that. The result is a product that carries the brand equity of healthy oatmeal while delivering the blood sugar impact of candy. Here are the 5 types ranked from worst to best for blood sugar. The first type is flavored instant oatmeal, and it opens this list as the type most people with type 2 diabetes are eating right now while believing they are making a healthy choice. Quaker instant oatmeal, maple and brown sugar, 12 grams of added sugar per packet. Quaker instant oatmeal, apple cinnamon, 13 grams of added sugar. Quaker instant oatmeal, peaches and cream, 11 grams of added sugar. These are not outliers. These are the best-selling flavors of the best-selling instant oatmeal brand in America. Each packet adds 11 to 13 grams of sugar to what is already a high glycemic carbohydrate base. A Dunkin' Donuts glazed donut has 12 grams of sugar. The oatmeal packet and the donut are statistically equivalent in sugar content. But one comes in a box that says heart-healthy and wholesome grain on the front. The glycemic index of flavored instant oatmeal is 79 to 83. The glycemic index of white bread is 75. The product marketed to diabetics as a healthy breakfast option outperforms white bread in blood sugar impact. This is not a minor difference that can be dismissed by noting the fiber content. The added sugar in the flavoring overwhelms the modest fiber benefit of the instant oat base, and the processing has already reduced the beta-glucan viscosity to a fraction of what intact oats deliver. The practical consequence: a person with type 2 diabetes who switches from flavored instant oatmeal to any other type on this list will see a measurable improvement in their fasting glucose the following morning, because the spike and subsequent crash from the previous day's instant oatmeal will no longer be driving overnight glycemic instability. The second type is plain instant oatmeal with nothing added, and it represents the minimum viable upgrade that any person making the switch from flavored instant should consider first. Plain instant oatmeal, the unflavored variety, has a glycemic index of approximately 66 to 72, still high but meaningfully lower than the flavored versions. The reason is simple: no added sugar. The base oat structure is still highly processed, pre-gelatinized, and quick digesting, which is why the GI is still elevated. But removing the 12 grams of added sugar from the flavored packet brings the blood sugar impact down significantly. The practical upgrade strategy: buy plain instant oatmeal and add your own toppings. A tablespoon of natural peanut butter adds 7 grams of protein and 8 grams of healthy fat that's slow absorption. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon adds GLUT for transporter improvement at zero glycemic cost. A handful of fresh blueberries adds anthocyanins with anti-inflammatory properties and fiber at a much lower glycemic impact than the artificial fruit flavoring in packets. A tablespoon of chia seeds adds 3 grams of soluble fiber that forms its own gel on top of whatever beta-glucan remains in the instant oats. These 4 additions to plain instant oatmeal, all available at Walmart and Aldi for under $8 total, transform a high glycemic breakfast into something genuinely protective for blood sugar. The brands to look for: Quaker Old Fashioned Plain, Bob's Red Mill Quick Cooking Plain, and store brand Plain Instant Oats. Always plain. The word plain on the label is the most important word you can look for on an oatmeal package. The third type is old-fashioned rolled oats, and this is where the glycemic index drops into genuinely low territory for the first time on this list. Rolled oats have a glycemic index of 55 to 57, which is classified as low GI. They are made by steaming whole oat groats and then flattening them with large rollers. This process partially disrupts the cell walls of the oat, but leaves the beta-glucan largely intact. The beta-glucan in rolled oats forms a significantly more viscous gel than the beta-glucan in instant oats, which have been pre-cooked and dried in a way that partially degrades the gel-forming capacity of the fiber. A 2019 randomized clinical trial published in the British Journal of Nutrition directly compared instant oats, old-fashioned rolled oats, and steel-cut oats in healthy adults. The blood sugar response to old-fashioned rolled oats was significantly lower than instant oats and comparable to steel-cut oats in most participants. The researchers noted that the thicker structure of rolled oats, which requires about 5 minutes to cook versus the 90 seconds of instant, preserves more of the beta-glucan viscosity that drives the glycemic benefit. For the morning routine specifically, rolled oats with a tablespoon of natural peanut butter, a handful of fresh blueberries, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a tablespoon of ground flaxseed is one of the most blood sugar protective breakfasts available at any American grocery store. Bob's Red Mill Old Fashioned Rolled Oats, Quaker Old Fashioned, and store brand rolled oats are all equivalent and available at Walmart and Costco in large containers that dramatically lower the per serving cost. Cooking tip: the 5-minute cook time for rolled oats is not optional for blood sugar management. The 1-minute microwave version partially pre-gelatinizes the starch in a way similar to instant oats, raising the effective glycemic index. Stovetop or 5-minute microwave with equal parts oats and water is the minimum to preserve beta-glucan viscosity. The fourth type is steel-cut oats, and they represent the lowest glycemic index of any processed oat product available in American grocery stores at approximately 42 to 53. Steel-cut oats, also known as Irish oats or Scottish oats, are made by cutting whole oat groats with steel blades into rough pieces without any rolling or steaming. This minimal processing leaves the cell wall structure almost completely intact. Digestive enzymes have to work through the dense cellular matrix slowly, giving them a glycemic index comparable to legumes rather than grain products. The 2019 British Journal of Nutrition trial confirmed that steel-cut oats raised blood sugar 28% less than instant oats in direct comparison. The beta-glucan in steel-cut oats forms the most viscous gel of any commercially available oat product. Research from the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirmed that this viscosity difference is directly responsible for the lower glycemic response, not simply the lower processing level. The physical mechanism of the gel barrier is the active ingredient, and steel-cut oats maximize it. The practical challenge is cook time. Steel-cut oats take 20 to 30 minutes on the stovetop. The solution used by most people who successfully incorporate steel-cut oats into a weekday morning routine is Sunday batch cooking. Cook a large pot, refrigerate in individual portions, and reheat in the microwave each morning. Reheated steel-cut oats that have been chilled retain a higher resistant starch content than freshly cooked steel-cut oats because the chilling process causes retrogradation of some of the starch, adding an additional layer of blood sugar protection on top of the already low glycemic index of the base product. Bob's Red Mill Steel-Cut Oats and Quaker Steel-Cut Oats are available at Walmart and Costco. The price per serving is comparable to rolled oats when bought in bulk. The cooking time is the only genuine barrier, and batch cooking eliminates it entirely. And here I want to be direct with you about something. Knowing that steel-cut oats have a GI of 42 and that flavored instant has a GI of 83 is information. What changes your morning blood sugar pattern is having a complete first 4 hours routine already built around that knowledge, including what to put in your oatmeal, what to drink alongside it, what to eat before it, and what to eliminate from your current morning that is quietly spiking your numbers before the oatmeal even gets there. The morning glucose protocol covers all of that. 3 chapters. The coffee chapter on what goes in your morning cup, the first 4 hours menu with exactly what to eat and in what order, and the hidden sugar map that exposes the flavored creamers, the flavored oatmeal packets, the orange juice, and the granola bars that are working against your blood sugar every morning while carrying health food branding. Less than a doctor's visit, no subscription, lifetime access. And if it does not deliver, there is a guarantee. The link is in the pinned comment right below this video. The 5th type is overnight oats, and it applies to oatmeal the same retrogradation principle that we have discussed with rice, pasta, and potatoes on this channel, lowering the glycemic impact of already low GI oats even further. Overnight oats are made by combining raw rolled oats or steel-cut oats with liquid, typically unsweetened almond milk or plain Greek yogurt, and refrigerating overnight without cooking. The starch in the raw oats absorbs the liquid slowly in the cold environment, and the retrogradation process that we discussed in previous videos begins to form resistant starch type 3. This resistant starch behaves like fiber in the digestive system, passing through the small intestine without becoming glucose and feeding beneficial gut bacteria in the large intestine instead. A study published in Nutrients documented that overnight prepared oats eaten cold or at room temperature produced a significantly lower postprandial glucose response than the same oats cooked hot. The resistant starch formed during overnight refrigeration adds to the already present beta-glucan in a way that further flattens the glucose curve. And because overnight oats are eaten cold or slightly warmed rather than fully cooked, the starch gelatinization that raises GI does not occur. The additional ingredients that make overnight oats maximally protective: Greek yogurt as the liquid base adds protein that stimulates GLP-1 and further slows gastric emptying. Chia seeds add soluble fiber that forms a second gel layer. Natural peanut butter or almond butter adds fat and protein that buffer carbohydrate absorption. Cinnamon adds GLUT for improvement. Fresh berries add anthocyanins and fiber at low glycemic cost. A jar of overnight oats assembled in 5 minutes the night before and grabbed from the refrigerator in the morning is one of the most convenient and most blood sugar protective breakfast options that exists for a person with type 2 diabetes. No cooking, no cleanup, Just assembly the night before. To summarize, all 5 types ranked from worst to best: flavored instant oatmeal, GI 79 to 83, 11 to 13 grams of added sugar per packet, blood sugar impact comparable to white bread and donuts, the most commonly consumed type and the worst for blood sugar. Plain instant oatmeal, GI 66 to 72, no added sugar, still highly processed and quick digesting. Significant improvement over flavored but still high GI, best upgraded with peanut butter and chia seeds. Old-fashioned rolled oats, GI 55 to 57, low GI territory, significantly lower blood sugar response than instant in clinical trial. 5-minute cook time preserves beta-glucan viscosity, available everywhere. Steel-cut oats, GI 42 to 53, lowest GI of commercially available oat products, 28% lower blood sugar response than instant in randomized trial, batch cook Sunday and reheat all week. Overnight oats, GI lower than the base oat type used. Resistant starch formation during refrigeration adds protection on top of beta-glucan. 5-minute assembly the night before. Most convenient option for maximum blood sugar protection. One more point worth making about oatmeal and diabetes that most people never hear from their doctors or dietitians: portion size matters as much as type. Even steel-cut oats at GI 42 can spike blood sugar at large portions because the glycemic load, which accounts for both index and quantity, rises with serving size. Half a cup dry, which produces approximately 1 cup cooked, is the evidence-based serving size for blood sugar management. A full cup dry, which many people default to, doubles the glycemic load even if the GI stays the same. Measure your oats until you internalize what half a cup looks like. That single portion discipline, applied consistently, is worth as much as switching from instant to steel cut in terms of blood sugar impact. The oatmeal you have been eating every morning may have been working against your blood sugar in ways you had no reason to suspect. The product on the shelf says heart healthy. The clinical trial says the same as white bread. The difference between that product and steel-cut oats with peanut butter and cinnamon is 41 points on the glycemic index and a completely different blood sugar curve in the first 2 hours after breakfast. That difference shows up in your fasting glucose the next morning. It shows up in your HbA1c 3 months from now. And it starts with what you put in the bowl tomorrow morning. Comment below, which type of oatmeal are you currently eating? And which one are you switching to? Tell me. That answer tells me whether the information in this video actually reached the people who needed it most. Share this video with someone who starts every morning with a flavored instant oatmeal packet, believing they are protecting their blood sugar. That person deserves to know what the clinical trial says about their breakfast. You know that less than 1% of people who watch our videos subscribe? If this made a difference today, hit subscribe, free, and it keeps this information coming every week. I'm Dr. Sarah Walker, and remember, it was never the oatmeal, it was not knowing which oatmeal. See you in the next video. One final practical note that applies specifically to the American grocery store context. The labeling on oatmeal products is designed to create confusion rather than clarity. The words heart healthy, whole grain, high fiber, and natural on the front of the package tell you nothing about the glycemic impact of the product inside. A flavored instant oatmeal packet can carry all 4 of those labels and still have a GI of 83. The only labels that matter for blood sugar are the ingredient list and the added sugar line on the nutrition facts panel. The ingredient list should say oats or whole grain rolled oats as the first and ideally only ingredient. The added sugar line should say 0. Everything else on the packaging front is marketing. The back of the box is where the truth is. Read the back. And for those who genuinely cannot make the time for steel-cut oats or overnight preparation and need the convenience of plain instant oatmeal with 4 specific additions is a workable compromise. 1 tablespoon of natural peanut butter for protein and fat. 1 tablespoon of chia seeds for soluble fiber gel formation. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon for GLUT4 support. A handful of fresh or frozen blueberries for anthocyanins and additional fiber. These 4 additions take 60 seconds. They cost under $2 per serving at Walmart or Aldi, and they transform the blood sugar impact of plain instant oatmeal from a high GI problem into something much closer to a low GI solution. Not as good as steel cut,